Welcome to the Desert Vibe. Here we go again. This time it is a very, very special edition that we have. Earlier we dealt with Walter's history and my history, but for some odd reason we did not get to Jamirae's history, and I think it's because we didn't have 4 or 5 hours available.
I don't have history. I'm a baby girl. I don't have history yet.
Both Walter and I, being, retired but not, we've got all kinds of time. And it took us some time to develop what kind of questions we're going to ask you and whatnot. So this episode is going to be dedicated to us learning a little bit more about Jamirae. And then at the end of the program, obviously, we're going to run down what's happening across Arizona as far as music events and happenings and things like that. But first, and I should mention that I developed an entire strategy of how I'm going to question you, Jamirae. And I developed this actually after speaking last night with Walt's sister, Lily, who was at the Tempe Center for the Arts last night, and she knew that you were going to be on the program, and she had some very interesting insights and suggestions as to how we might go about learning more about you. So I'm going to save my questions and I'm going to hand it over to Walt, because I know Walt also has a path that he has laid out where he is going to use a specific strategy in order to find out more about you.
I think I'm losing the connection here. I might not. I don't
Looking
know.
good here.
It's sounding good over here too. I
Yeah,
hear you
looking
loud.
great.
I hear you live, loud, and local,
Looking
baby.
great. So Walter, I am officially handing the reins over to you.
Okay, so those of you who are seeing this podcast for the first time, I'm Walt Richardson,
And I'm
and
Glenn Gardner, and
I'm Jamirae.
and here listen to the Desert Vibes, and our special guest, like Glenn is saying, is one of our hosts here, Jamirae. And well, I don't know where to start, so I'll just start anywhere, just so people could have the basic questions out of the way. Where where were you born, or where are you from, and how did you end up in Arizona?
Well, I can't steal from Glenn. I was gonna steal from Glenn, but I ended up in Arizona because I was born here. I was born in Mesa, Arizona.
Okay.
My mother's actually from Alabama. My father's from Lebanon, but my dad's family lived here in Mesa, and my mother was a singer, but moved to Arizona for a band that she was in when she was like 16 or 17, something like that. So they, were based here for years and met and produced me. I'm actually number 5 out of 6, and
Okay.
I was an accident. I know people don't like to say that, but I really was. My mother was 42, already had 4 kids. The youngest was, I think my sister was, I think we're 14 years apart.
Ooh,
We're about 14 years apart.
that,
So,
that is a good stretch there.
yeah, it was because she was doing her thing and singing, and the kids, the first 4 were already growing up and whatever. And yeah, it was an accident. And then they had my little brother 2 years later, so I wouldn't be an only child. But I don't
Or
think
the
that,
only accident.
yeah, yeah, I don't think that worked much because I walked to the beat of my own drum from birth. So I
So,
don't think that mattered.
well, did you learn an instrument? Music has always been a part of your life because your mother's band and everything, and musical influences there.
Yeah, I don't. I know that if you talk to my siblings and my parents, they will tell you, and I've heard it my whole life. I could not carry a tune in a bucket when I was little.
Okay.
Apparently, I just would just scream as loud as I could, thought I was singing. But I was always drawn to music, and all my siblings, um, especially my brother Andy, he's he'll tell you he's not a musician, but he's got like 80 guitars. He can play. I've seen him play violin. It's he's very musically talented, and they can all carry a tune in their own right. But I grew up around that, and then being, the younger sibling with them all into music, I had this huge genre of music that, from 60s to modern music, because they were all into music that I probably would have not known of had I
Mhm.
been the oldest child.
Right.
So, um, but yeah, I got it. I loved music. I wanted, so I think my clarinet was my first instrument
Okay.
in
And you
third
played
grade.
it for a while.
I played clarinet all through third grade through graduation.
And do you still play?
I can. I don't, but I can. I can
Mm.
play sax. I can play all the woodwinds. I tried French horn. I played piano for a while, guitar. So,
So, this is interesting to know. So you read music and all of that.
kind of. I could play by ear.
Right.
So and believe it or not, I was shy.
Mhm.
So I didn't ever ask the questions. If I wasn't getting the music as I was
Mhm.
growing up, I could play it by ear, and I started I'm going to age myself. I'm really only 21, but I found it in a secondhand store, tape recorder. I used to take a tape recorder to band practice and record it, and I that's how I would play because it was hard for me. Um, I, like I said, I can sight read and I know the notes and I can look at a sheet of music, but it was hard for me to grasp it. And I think it was because I wanted to learn so fast. I wanted to already know it, and you know that about me. I, I want
Right.
stuff done right now. So being able to hear it and play it, I got it quicker. So I didn't really learn sheet music like I should have or could
Okay. So this next question is off the beating path.
have.
When you were going to school, what kind of student were you, and what was your favorite? What were your favorite subjects? The areas you excelled in?
I excelled in music. In English, I actually was really good in English. They didn't have AP classes when I was in high school, but I was in the honors English classes. I loved reading. Um, I loved writing, and I was terrible at math. Terrible at math. I'm still terrible at math. I hated math. Um, and I was an athlete, so that was,
What
yeah.
what sports?
I played softball. I played volleyball. I played basketball, but it was too violent for me.
Mhm.
On my end.
You mean
Yeah, it was.
you were mean out
Yeah,
there?
I was mean. It was too much. I got fouled out the first 20 minutes of a game. So I figured the first year I played basketball, this isn't for me. So
Right.
volleyball and softball is what I played mostly. And I played softball even after high school. So,
So, do you remember your first gig?
um, yeah. Well, to me, my first gig was when I was 13 years old in a talent show at school because we didn't have karaoke back then. We didn't have tracks. We didn't have, you either played with live music or you sang to the vinyl record that you owned. So the talent show I was in at 13 years old, an underclassman friend of mine, Michael Kirshner, still a good friend of mine, um, he could play piano well. He was 12 years old, and he's even more amazing now, but at the time, he was great. And my music teacher, Mr. Chadwick, um, who influenced me a lot in music, put us together to sing because the year before I sang in the talent show, but I used a vinyl record and sang over Anne Murray's voice. So, that's just how we did it. So he put me with Michael, and he played The Rose, which was one of my favorite songs at the time. And that was my first live experience playing with just music, and we lost, but but I after that I couldn't. I That was all I wanted to do after that. That's
Because
all I
that's
could.
the
So
bug.
to me, that's like my first gig because that was the first feeling. I even get goosebumps now. That was I just remember that rush of oh my gosh, like this is cool, you know?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, I think our listeners need to understand that, our watchers, viewers, if you will, need to understand that there's so much to your career, and in terms of what you experience and what you bring to the stage, that, like Glenn said, we would need a little while to just be able to get to all those pieces. And I'm just putting little bullet points here and there to talk about, as if I was putting it's part of a mosaic of your life. And so I want to trail back to when you just recently renewed the vows with your husband, and I was there to be the minister and of that great ceremony. You sang a song that you had written for the occasion, or had written for him, and the song, the lyrics, and the melody, and everything was absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
So I my my question is, going into the area of like where you liked writing and English, is songwriting just one of the areas, or do you have poetry, or do you have essays, or do you have a book in mind, or something like that? Is this another side of that writing aspect about you?
Yeah, all the above, actually. I love poetry. I love poetry. Um, and I've written a lot, and a lot of my poems have meshed into songs. Um, and I'm more of a lyricist. Like I said, I'm not great at reading music. Is one of the things I do regret that I wish I would have been better at because I'm not good at writing that part of it. I get stuck with one melody in my head that I've had like for my whole life. And, it's like I have to have a co-writer for that part of it. But I love lyrics. I love words. And I do have two books, actually. One book I've been writing my whole life, and it's actually the story of I don't have Kleenex here. The story of my family, my father's family in particular, just because they were immigrants and, came to this country. Um, I want to use the right terminology because I don't want to say the wrong way, but the right way. I don't know how else to say it. They came over and did what you had to do to become a citizen, and there's just they came from Lebanon with nothing on a boat at 14 and 12, my grandparents,
Mm.
and so it just and they built a legacy, and my heritage is just really important to me. It's a big part of my life and who I am, and I loved the way I grew up with I mean, even my mother's side, she's from Alabama, so I have all that southern, those southern roots, and I have immigrant roots, and together they were both sides of my family were very family oriented, and I just have always felt like I had the best of both worlds because I had the American dream with my father's family, and I had homegrown southern roots for my mom's, and it just doesn't go any deeper than that for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that passion that you have shows when you get on stage and perform, sing your tunes. You're not just out there. You're putting the whole. I mean, you're in it,
I
and
am.
it's
You say that I have a cover band now. I've never had a cover band. And at first that was a little difficult for me. I think I've had this conversation with you, Walt, privately. And not because I didn't want to sing other people's songs, but as a songwriter, and I think most songwriters can attest to this, you feel what you write. So it's easier to put it out there when you sing it. Whether I know that people take lyrics to songs and whatever they're going through, it might not mean it the way they took it, the way I wrote it. And I get that, I understand that. But when I pick a cover song, and I don't care if it's funny, if it's upbeat, if it's kooky, whatever, if I don't feel that in me, I can't sing it. And that probably sounds crazy to some people, but for instance, we picked a Green Day song. I love Green Day, and I let the band pick the song. It wasn't one that I would have chosen, but we tried it, and you could literally tell when I was singing it. Sounded great, the band sounded good, but it came across wrong because it wasn't me, it wasn't what I
Right.
wanted to say, and so we don't do that. We did it twice. We don't do it anymore. But and um one of my bandmates thinks that's limiting, but there are millions of songs, to choose from. So I don't think it's limiting at all. I just because if I can't do it, it's not going to come across right.
So we're leading on with that. What is your, if you have one, what is your overall intention of your expression through your art, being either writing or especially when you're on stage? What intention is motivating you?
The audience. I want to touch each and every person in any. I don't care what emotion it is, because I
Mhm.
know anger is probably not someone's first emotion that they come up with, but I know if I get in one of those moods, AC/DC's the first thing I put on. I just want whatever I'm singing, cover
Mhm.
song, original, I want it to bleed out to somebody
Mhm.
emotionally, because
Right.
that's the way I communicate. And
Right.
that's why I've never done an interview like this before.
Right. Well, you yourself have been through a lot of, I guess I would call it life experiences and everything. And I think you and your husband have a beautiful love story. You guys have known each other for a long time. And if anybody gets a chance to meet your husband, they would not even believe that would be the person that
Right.
you would be with.
Absolutely.
But then once you get to know Jeremy, you go, oh, this is
He's
a
the only
perfect
one that can
match. He's the
handle me.
only one.
He is the only one.
And he could teach a. We gotta interview him because I think he could get the whole Zen kind of thing going.
Oh, for sure. For
This would
sure.
take the podcast into that era where people say, "How does he meditate? What
Yeah.
does he do? Does he do?"
Yeah.
He's so he's so present in the moment. I love that about him. But you guys have walked through a lot of things, and if you want to tell a story a little bit about that, I'm going to let you speak on it.
Well,
With
I've known my husband since I'm 16 years old. Um, we're the same age. Well, I'm older than him, so just a few months. But we met in high school. We were both in band. He played trombone, um, and I was I was the outgoing, you know, everybody knew me, and I knew everybody, and show up in a room busting through the doors, and Jeremy behind me, just, go in and take a seat. um
he still does that.
he still does that. That's my husband. But back then at that age, um he would be you would have to interview him on this, because his side to it is better than mine, because I always just got mad. He would go sit in a corner and I'd be doing my thing and talking to people, and he's like, "Well, are you going to pay attention to me?" Well, yeah, we're here right now. I'll pay attention to you on the ride home. And God love him.
I
He's
think there's
still
I
here.
think there's a good song there.
Yeah.
I'll pay
Well,
attention on the ride home.
That does
I
sound
do
good.
have an
I
original
like that.
song. I do have an original song. If you leave me, take me with you. That's all
That
I need
is,
to tell you.
ooh, 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 ooh.
It,
Man, those
on my
lyrics in
album.
that song are amazing. I don't I don't know why you aren't singing that song all the time.
We play it. We
No, and
play
I mean all the time. That's
it.
that's
It is.
a I consider that one a hit material.
I do too, and I just can't get it there yet. I try, but
Well,
yeah, but
yeah. Go ahead.
he he definitely is he's been there for me forever, and he's devil's advocate. I mean, I can remember coming home back in my day of, fight or flight, and spewing stuff out, and he'd just sit there and then look at me and go, "Well, what did you do?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't do anything. Why did I do something?" And then when we dissect it, because he's good at dissecting, then it's like, okay, well, maybe I had a hand in it a little bit, but so
Golly.
this man has kept me grounded, and has not let me go where some other people could have went, and been dived off the cliff.
Hmm.
And he's the love of my life. I wouldn't be who I am today without him.
That's great. That's great.
Well, it was Walt actually that brought you into this show. I was diametrically opposed, of course. But
I wish you would have won.
Walter, said we really need to have this person on, hosting this podcast. And I was like, oh, whatever. But in developing a strategy to deal with you as a guest on this program, I thought to make it more interesting, because frankly, what I've heard to this point,
I know we've lost views. I told Emma and James, I said, you're going to have to tell me how many.
I'm surprised you didn't get up and go for a walk,
is it
Glenn.
intermission yet or what? I mean,
Yeah,
so to,
we can
to
take
make it more
intermission.
make it more interesting, the strategy I devised is, because this will make it far more interesting. I'm just going to ask you
Okay,
about
I'll be
me.
back.
So that I'm going to ask you about me, because
Okay.
I think people will find that incredibly
Now, I made a, I
compelling.
made a, I made a really great post last night while I was at TCA. We had a great evening, and I should know it by heart. I posted it,
I
but I
saw it.
said
I saw it.
there were so many talented musicians at TCA last night. Amazing night,
It
and
was.
Glenn Gardner was there.
Then,
And me.
So
and,
Yeah.
then he got
that's
that.
Also.
that's my conversation about you.
So getting back to the meat and potatoes of this interview, Jamirae, what do you find my best quality?
The fact that you can wear Depends and nobody
Oh,
knows it.
Can you expand on that a little bit, please?
No, but I bet you can.
he's wearing the expanding ones right now.
And they're loaded, let me tell you.
Glenn,
Okay,
I think
stop.
I actually, on a serious note, I think you're pretty amazing. I've found out a lot about you during being a host on here with you, and I loved you before and thought you were amazing, but I find out little things about you. You are so humble, and so I think you're
So great.
fantastic. You are. I think you are.
So
Yep.
great.
That is the truth.
Can you expand on that? No.
It'll be in my memoir. It'll be in the
Yes,
book.
right. She's writing a book about you, bro.
What do you, so far I'm thinking the strategy is really working out well. So we'll continue down this line of questioning.
Okay,
Of all the things you've seen me play, Jamirae, what do you think is the absolute best thing you've ever seen me perform or play on stage?
I can't think of the name of the song. It I'll have to get back to
It
you.
was because you commented afterwards. You came up. It was my rendition of "Chewy Chewy" by the 1910 Fruit Gum Company.
There you go.
My cover of that song.
There you go. Oh, I can't think of the song, but there is one that you blew my mind. That wasn't it.
That's all right. I'm pulling you. You know what? On top of all the musical stuff you've done, and being in the Blindsiders, which is a really one of the bands that people really want to have at their events and whatnot in this area. You're really kind of a go-to band. But you've done a lot of other things, like you've done a lot of promotion and a lot of the mechanical stuff around music. I mean, people see sometimes what we do on stage, and they think, maybe rightly so, because people oftentimes don't really want to know how the sausage gets made. But there's a lot that goes into that end of making music happen, and you were involved in quite a bit of that, weren't you?
Yeah, I ran an amphitheater in Missouri for several years, and even before that, just gigging and being part of a band and performing, you know the backstory and what goes on behind the scenes that people don't see, and there are a lot of people that are involved in putting a show together that do more than we even do on stage. And people don't see that, and they don't get recognition for it. I used to thank stagehands and cleanup crews even, because I remember cleaning up the amphitheater after a concert. We were there for 22 hours, and you know, 15 hours was cleanup after the show. So yeah, there's a lot behind the scenes. There's a lot of, you get the writers for the artists. You got to pick out the yellow and red M&Ms, and you gotta go to McDonald's and get the 21 Big Macs for the four dogs that they bring to the show, and they sitting in the RV. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes on, and good and bad. And I've seen a lot of it.
So good and bad. I'd be interested in your experience. Is running, a large. Was this like a Live Nation kind of shed or something like that,
Yeah, it was
or?
an amphitheater out in Lampe, Missouri, the Black Oak Mountain Amphitheater. It's still there. Someone else is running it now. Someone bought it, actually. When I left, it went up for sale because I left. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Surprised
it
they didn't burn it down.
it did burn down.
See? Mhm.
It did burn down. It holds about 6,000 people, so it's a good size amphitheater out on the lake. It's seasonal because it's in the Midwest, but it's a pretty nice venue, and
So what's your memory of the coolest thing that happened when you were doing that, and your memory of the most, oh my God, I can't believe this happened memory of running that venue?
actually it was the same exact show, the best and the worst. It was BB King. I got goosebumps. I love that man. He had my kids on his tour bus for like 2 or 3 hours just talking to them, which was cool because my kids like loved BB King, loved music, especially my oldest son who was a guitar player. But coolest guy. I mean, he I don't even know how that was the coolest event. But the worst part of that night is, and a lot of people don't know this, when an entertainer gets brought into a show and you have a writer, you're obligated to perform. If it says 59 minutes, you're on stage for 59 minutes or you don't get paid. Well, BB King was on stage for, I'm just going to say 59 minutes. It was longer than that, but and he was, but at the time I had BB King at that venue, he was already elderly because it was a few years before he passed away. So he was already in that stage of his life where he was sitting on stage and not standing all the
Yeah,
time.
I mean, he was really old at that point. He was actually, probably kind of like Walt is now.
Yeah, yeah. God
Very
bless.
similar to that.
So, so him and Lucille, if you know who Lucille is,
The cool Gibson red guitar.
yes. But so he's on stage. Well, he got up to finish his set. He threw some picks out, and it took the man a few seconds, minutes to walk off stage. Well, he got up before his time, but he knew he needed that time to get off. And he was still talking and, heckling the crowd. And Buddy Guy opened for him, so he was
Wow.
there. It was a riot. It was a great show. But when he walked off the stage, the owners were there, and we all had the walkies. And I was standing backstage waiting, for him to get back to go to the green room. And on the walkies, I hear, he's not done. He didn't perform his time. Literally, it was probably 2 minutes, I think, that he got up. B.B. King heard that. And B.B. King's son, who was his manager, Walt, his name is Walter,
Of course.
he heard it. I was mortified. I have to tell you.
How did he react? Or did he react?
B.B. King didn't react. His son gave me a look like, and I was like, don't even worry about it. But it mortified me because, yeah, maybe he got off stage 2 minutes earlier, but this was B.B. King.
Right.
This is B.B. King, and he played the whole time. He didn't go out there and, play 2 songs and then talk. And I mean, he played. He played. He gave a show. People.
That's interesting. That the it's kind of like the best of times and the worst of times.
It was, and there was a lot of great shows, but and maybe that's just my fangirl in me that loved B.B. King, but you don't meet legends like that very often.
No, this is true. Well, before I hand it back to Walt, I want to kind of return to my previous strategy because I think it was working a lot better than where we ended up. So if you had to say, what is the worst thing that you remember about Walt Richardson? I mean, what is the absolute, if you could change 1 or 2 or 10 or 50 things about Walt Richardson,
actually, I can
what
tell you
would it
one.
be?
I can tell you one.
All right.
He doesn't let me be a crybaby. Sometimes I want to be a crybaby.
Walt does not suffer fools well.
He makes me wear my big girl panties all the time.
This is true. He makes me wear my Depends all the time. I mean, he's that way. That was a good answer. I thought it would take longer. So.
I want to ask you a question that goes along almost like that. And it is, you've been in the Valley pretty much all your life, except for the part where you were, I guess you were touring and just, doing music in other places. When is the first time you ever met me? Do you remember that?
I do. I was young. I remember being downtown Tempe. I wish I could remember the venue. I was younger. I know my brother Andy worships you. Walt, I was a teenager. You were with Morning Star.
I put it around 1920 somewhere.
If I was that old, I would say that. But
You know
what? I did ride in that time machine.
Yeah.
At 13. Maybe it was the 20s.
See.
I was young, Walt, and actually you were just as kind then. I know you don't remember me, and you met.
So we physically met.
I did because I went up to talk. Yeah, I went up to tell you like how amazing your band was, and you were just as.
Was it an outdoor event or was it?
It was outdoors. It was in Tempe.
Was it the Hayden Square Amphitheater?
Oh, you know what? It might have been. Yes.
Probably during the art festivals when we used to play out there.
I think that's where it was.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but I was young, and I thought you were the man. Thought you were the man. I don't know what happened to you, but
I don't. Well,
Oh,
you
I
said
do.
it right. Thought. You said thought, and were.
I got to tell you too. When I think you remember one of my first shows at the Chill Room. You were there, and my family, my brother was there, Andy was there, and he walked in and come up to me, says hi, and I think we were, because he got there after I started, so it was during a break, and he comes and says hi to me, and he goes, "Is that Walt Richardson?" I go, yeah, it is. You want me to introduce you? Yeah. Little did I know you still didn't remember my name at that time, but
It's funny. I was right behind you, Jamirae, and I also remember your brother saying, "Man, did he get old? Holy cow! Jeez, what happened?"
Well, my brother's just as old, so.
Yeah, but
You would know.
he
You would
looks
know.
great.
So I introduced him to you, and you had a conversation with him, and it was all good. He got a picture. So then later that night, I go home, and how I always post after a show, thanks for the chill room or wherever I've performed. So I'm looking at Facebook, and my brother's pops up, and he's got a picture of Walt Richardson, him and Walt Richardson, and it says, "Met the great legendary Walt Richardson," and I'm like, that was my show. Not one word about, oh, my sister was great today. My sister had a show. No, it's all about Walt Richardson. I was like, well, I guess
Jamie
I got to
who?
invite Walt to all my shows or my family won't come.
Well, what I remember about you is basically meeting you there at the show and enjoying the show, thinking, "Wow, these people, this is a great band."
Thank you.
And I just remember you were just very friendly. And then I met your mom, and I think you were saying she was from Alabama and everything like that. And I said, okay, I'm from the South, kind of thing. But after going forward since that time, you would always come up to me as if we've known each other for a long time. And I'm thinking, well, she's very friendly. I've just met her a day ago.
And
She's
I have
come.
700 cards.
That's right. And
Got a
it kept going
collage.
like that. And I go, well, she's just really a nice woman. And
Did
then
that
one
word
day,
stalker enter your thought process at any point, or
Someone did try to serve me a few times. I didn't answer the door.
see,
So it might have been Walt.
no, it never did. I just thought she
Walt?
was very friendly.
I'm your biggest fan.
No, it was, I've had that happen before in the past, but
Oh,
believe me, it was,
I'm sure.
it's not like that. So, yeah, um, I think that your book that when you tell your story, I think it should, in, I guess, express some of the hardships you've been through. And I'm
That's
trying
in
to
the
say
prompt.
this, yeah, I'm trying to say this without, it being a leading question. But if you wanted to give some advice on how to move through any kind of trauma, especially really, significant trauma, do you feel like talking about any of that? Some of the things that, a significant thing that you've been through in that
Um,
space?
I will talk about it, but I want to preface with this. This is one of the reasons I've never done a one-on-one interview in all my years. I've done, I've the band's played, whether it was when I was younger or now, and I've done, the on stage, oh well, how did you guys get together kind of interview after you perform. I've never done a sit-down interview because, and it's not because I am private in my private life, and when you raise kids, you kind of want them when you're in this world to have a childhood and not just the music life, which mine did, but they loved it. Um, I've never done one because I've auditioned for a lot of things in my lifetime. That Star Search, The Voice, Nashville Star, AGT, X Factor. I've done a lot of auditions, and it bothered me that um, the talent I have alone wasn't good enough to get on the show, because when you get past a certain point, which I've gotten past, you get to the producer interview and they want a story. I don't I don't mind my stories. They're who I am. That's why I'm writing a memoir and a family book. But I don't want to be on the show because of my story. And I no disrespect to anyone else who has the stories, but if I'm going to be on, just say, The Voice, I want to be on The Voice because of my voice and my talent, not because, oh, well, God bless her, she went through that.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably wrong or whatever, but
No, no, I think it's absolutely,
that's,
it's, it,
I
it
want
does.
people to like me. That's why on my social medias, I don't buy robots to be fans. I don't,
Oh,
you
I
know,
do.
so, I know you do.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
whole different show.
How the hell do you think
Um,
I get them? When
I want people coming to me because they want to hear what we have to offer. And I
Right.
know everybody doesn't like what I have to offer, and that's perfectly fine. Music's universal. Um, but one thing I know that the hardest thing, probably out of few things I could talk about, um, was losing a child. And nobody wants to lose their child. Um, there's a name for children who lose their parents, they're orphans. When you lose your partner, spouse, or someone, you're a widow. There is not a name for parents who lose a child. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And unfortunately, I have a few. You right there. um,
You have two.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's not, having large family on both sides, I've seen death. I've walked through it. I know grief through other aspects, and I've lost my father. But losing a child, I gotta tell you, you don't want people telling you it'll get better with time. They're in a better place. And I know those are all heartfelt and they mean well, but those are not, because you don't. It's just something you have to learn to live with in a different way every day,
Mhm.
every anniversary, every birthday, every holiday. Um, Losing my father was hard also. It was 8 months after my son. But you know in your mind as you age, you're going to lose your parents,
Mhm.
no matter how hard it is. You know that day is going to come full
Mhm.
circle.
Mhm.
You do not, you do not
Ever
have,
even, yeah.
you don't even have the mentality to even understand it
Yeah.
unless you go through it. And
Yeah.
it's not easy. And I don't know. I have a lot of faith. I'm God fearing. I don't know. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Still not easy. I got a huge picture of him right there. And I take him with me everywhere. I know people have asked me about it. I have a bullet that I wear around my neck. It has his ashes in it.
Hmm.
Um, and I have to be honest, he was a musician in his own right. He was a very talented kid. I wish everybody could have met him. I mean, he was great, very talented. And when he passed away, I was done with music. I was done. He was my biggest fan. He really, truly was. We'd walk into a bar or somewhere if they had karaoke. My mom's here. Give her the mic. My mom's here. And I'd be like, Dalton, I'm not singing karaoke. Yeah, you are. Come on, Biggest fan. Always wanted me to sing. He would have wanted. He would have been great with me going through life singing everything, no
Yeah.
matter what. So it was difficult to think that I was ever going to perform again,
How did it
but I
feel
do
when
it
you
for him every time I get on stage.
how did it feel when you got up there for the first time after?
Um, I'm going to tell you the first show, and that's why we're having the Blindsider Bash at the Chill Room. The first show with the band, it was an open mic, so it wasn't really a gig, but we did open mic. And the first song I sang back after losing him live was She Talks to Angels.
Mhm.
And that's one of the reasons I do that song. I know a lot of people don't like it, but to me, and if you've seen me perform it, it's yeah, that's yeah, it felt great, and I know he's there every time, and I know that I'm doing
You,
what he would want me to do. He would kick my ass.
you
Can I
raise
say that? Can I say that on the podcast?
you
Yeah.
just did.
You just did.
He would be very upset if I quit singing it totally. So
Well,
Well, he
one of
wouldn't
the
be the only one. He wouldn't be the
right.
only one. All of us who've been in your presence and been at your show, we would be. Well, we would just get up in your face and tell you we were upset. You know, we'd
yeah,
be his spokesperson.
I gotta tell you though, it's not easy. I mean, because he's in my thoughts, and I mean, the whole time. And I know he'd be there. He'd be at everything. And, it's hard. I'd be a liar if I told you it was easy because it's not. And I've lost it a few times on certain songs that I sing, but nobody knows that because you got to, I've seasoned enough, I guess. I know how to get through it. But I even sang it as memorial.
Yeah.
So ask me how I did that one.
But you know what? Music is so emotional, and it can be, it cuts a bunch of different ways. It's emotionally healing, I think,
It is.
in a lot of ways. I know music has gotten me through, all kinds of stuff that I thought
Yeah.
was almost unbearable.
Well, tax evasion is unbearable to everybody, Glenn. Come
Well, you
on,
got
man.
to have income before they take any money from you. I think. I don't
Come
know.
on, man. She's got a beautiful story here.
You
You,
know, you got to show income. I don't. But but it's interesting because I was playing a showcase the other day, and I played this song that I wrote, and this woman came up to me and she said that song made me cry.
Hmm.
And when you kind of take a step back, and you say to yourself, the power of what we do as musicians is immense. I mean, we look at sometimes, say, well, the president has all this kind of power, and this senator or this pastor has all this power. But in reality, I think the power that lies within a song,
yeah.
or a performance is more than we could ever sometimes realize until that thing happens, until someone walks up to us and says, I'm just looking for a note that I keep in this drawer here right in
Oh, I
front of
thought there
me.
was a mouse running across for
No,
something to turn.
I keep this here because every once in a while, when stuff is getting hard, or why am I doing this or whatever, I once cleared out my tip jar, which is easy to clear out because it's usually empty.
Yeah. That's the only,
Yeah,
that note was
particularly
probably the only
mine.
thing in there that night, right?
Waltz, yours is like a volcano overflowing and whatnot. But here's this note that was sitting in the tip jar, and it says your sound is beautiful. I could listen to it all day. And that had more impact for me than any kind of money someone could have put in there. Because what that said to me was I made someone's day better. I physically did something that contributed to making someone's day better. She could have gone through something, Jamirae, like you had gone through. I have no idea what her day was prior to when she walked into that venue.
Yeah.
And I
Your
know from my,
handwriting is beautiful, by the way.
yeah, it's not mine, that's for sure. But that's just that's one of the things I think that, with music, that you just kind of never really you know what effect it has on yourself
Right.
oftentimes, and then even then sometimes it doesn't present itself until much later when you
True.
realize, oh my gosh, now I think I know a little bit more about that song I wrote and maybe about why I wrote it or something like that than I did.
Glad you said that because I told this story before to just people, but and I'll be quick, but I have
I
a
doubt
song.
it.
Uh, how do I tell my heart? And I just
Oh,
sang
yeah.
this with my mother.
That song. That's another one.
Okay, that song to me. Now I'm going to tell you this is, and I've already told you I love English. I read books. I love words, but I didn't. It took me until when did I release that song? 2010. Had it for years before. Didn't release it till 2010. But obviously, that song from me was about me and Jeremy, and it was about, he went off to be in the Coast Guard. I wanted to go be a rock star. There was a lot to that life that we had. And How Do I Tell My Heart was just all about that's what it meant to me. But me and Jeremy. Well, it was a love story song. So 30 years later, 25 years later, I'm finally releasing it. I performed it at the venue I used to play at in Branson, Missouri. And there's a woman in the audience, same thing, Glenn, except she didn't leave me a note. She came to talk to me after the show. You do the meet and greet in Branson after the show. She's crying, loved the song, wanted to know if she could use it for something. I said, yeah, I even gave her my album. I said, yeah, here's the album. Go ahead, use it. She goes, thank you. I really appreciate it because they're bringing my son home this weekend and I want to play it at his memorial. And he was, I don't know what branch of service, but he was killed in action. And that song meant that to her for her son. And it was right there in that moment that I realized the lyrics I write, that I think I'm writing, mean a whole different thing to the rest of the world. Then I start thinking of cover songs that I loved. Then I'm like, well, did it really mean that? Then I start researching, well, why did they write this? Had nothing to do with what I thought. And it took me a lifetime to figure out, even though I always said music's universal, it is 100% universal because you don't ever know what it's going to mean to that person. And that's why I said earlier, I love being able, no matter what song it is, it means something to someone in that audience. I don't care if it's one person.
Well,
Yeah,
you do it
exactly.
really well because I
Exactly.
can tell when you perform, you are putting your heart, your
Yeah.
heart into it, and that's cover, not cover, original, whatever. If you don't put your heart into it, I think it's obvious to everybody out there that
Yes.
this person is
Very,
going through
very much
the
so.
going through the motions, and then there are the people like yourself that really put their stamp on the song emotionally from inside. It's a whole different song. It's a whole different thing. It doesn't matter what's cover or not a cover or
Right.
whatever, and you do that. You do that really well,
Thank you.
and that's why it's a pleasure to watch you perform.
I have a question. You've
I bet you do.
played in different areas of the states. What stands out to you about playing music in Arizona as opposed to anywhere else?
It's I played a lot in the Midwest. Um, my album was recorded in Canada, so that's a whole nother world also. But Arizona is very, oh, I want to use the right words. Arizona, you can play anything. It's not a clique. It's not a clique. There are cliquish areas, but you can look up any genre of music and find it in Arizona.
Exactly.
You can't everywhere. You
That's
can't
true.
everywhere else. You can't. And I like that because like I said, I never had a cover band, and I can have a cover band here and cover many genres. I do Ozzy Osbourne, so
Yeah.
Yep.
we cover Ozzy Osbourne.
So would the word be eclectic?
I That's what I wanted to say, but yeah, that's the best word. Yeah, it is the best word, and that's why I love the chill room because you get everything in there. You get everything.
That's
You get
true.
all kinds of genres and everything.
Okay, so if a person that's hearing this is learning about you for the first time, how do they find you, your merchandise, and and talk about this upcoming show here
Um,
at
well,
the
I'm all over. Just type my name correctly. Jamirae. It's one word. Um, and you can find a lot, unfortunately. I always tell my husband if we had phones in high school, I'd either be in jail, um, hiding somewhere off the grid, or so rock star famous that I would be just throwing out Benjamins everywhere.
Benjamins. Well, we
um,
definitely be in your audience.
Oh yeah.
I'll be a front row.
the album's on Bandcamp. It's actually everywhere. It's on Amazon, Apple, Spotify. The album's everywhere.
What's the name of it? What's the title?
Gotta Find a Way, and
Gotta find
it's
a way.
Jamie Ray. Gotta Find a Way. So it's self-titled too, but and what else did you ask? Oh, the show, February 7th at the Chill Room in Tempe, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
The Blindsiders are having a big bash, and we've been a band now for 3 years. We've only been performing um, for two. For 1 year, we've been booked every weekend. So I take a lot of pride in that because it's hard to get a band going. It doesn't usually happen that quickly. Um, and I'm not trying to say we're the best of the best, but it is hard to stick with it and to hit the pavement and
Yep.
take no's, and because you get a lot of no's, and I
Yeah.
love those people. I love the no people
Yeah.
because my price just went up in their venue.
As
Um,
opposed to me, I get the hell no's.
I know. I don't tell people I know you.
Oh, I get the hell no.
But the Blindsider Bash is just all about celebrating where we've come from. I have other artists on there. Walt, you'll be there. Eric Ramsey will be there. Glenn Garner will be there, but he's a diva.
Hell no.
I had to work my schedule around getting Glenn on stage at a,
You should
a
see my rider.
um Old
I
Town.
want, I want farm animals and a washing machine on
I
stage.
told you they're already there. I've got Old Town Love coming in. They are amazing local talent. And I have two younger artists, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, that are going to make some special cameo during the show too because I personally love the younger people. I love up and coming artists. I want to celebrate that. I
Yeah.
want them to be part of this show because
Well, and to Walt, a 70-year-old is a younger artist.
he's
So,
172.
you know, um,
Um, so it's going to be a day full of music and celebrate the community. And it's where it all began for the Blindsiders. We went from open mic to a main stage. We're opening for some
who is
really
hosting that open mic out of curiosity?
um
Is this,
Marshall Marshall Shore and Melissa Farley from the morning show. I wanted you to be there all day, but you're a busy man.
I am.
So now I got to have a diva red carpet for you to roll in at 6:30.
My people will be talking to your people, and we'll see what we can work out. But
But yeah, Marshall Shore, he's the hip historian here
yeah,
in
they're great.
Tempe. And Melissa, they are amazing. I'm so excited that they're going to be part of it. They're going to host it, and of course, Sal will be there, and
Yeah.
the Chill Room Squad, and it's going to be a great day. I just want it to be all about music, community, and just uplifting those young kids.
It'll be a blast, and seeing that we're already kind of talking about what's going on, maybe we should just segue into that because at this stage of the program, I'm sure there's absolutely nobody watching anyway. Uh,
Hey, Jamie. Jamie. Okay. Like we said, there would be no way for us to be able to wrap this in a package because of the nature of your personality. People have to be, they can listen to you here, they can also listen to your music, but when they're in your presence, it's magical. And so
Thank
there
you.
is no wrap up to this. How do we wrap this up? Y'all come see her this way, that way. No, because you'll be here next week with this other boring guy over here trying to you and I keep this thing live,
Everybody's got to be
loud.
somewhere.
We keep it live, loud, and local and everything. Um,
Well,
I,
that
I,
was my sound check. So I
yeah,
just gave my sound check to the
yes,
world. We're
yeah,
never doing this again. So look me up on social media,
right,
Jamie Ray Music, Jamie Ray, The Blindsiders.
yeah.
That's all you get.
And if anybody needs cards of Jamie Ray's, just talk to me before I throw them away because I've got a ton of them. I
Yeah.
get one every time I shake her hand. I pull away. I got a
They make
card
great
in it.
bookmarks, I've noticed.
They're great. They do. They
They
do great
do.
bookmarks.
They're thick. They're nice ones, aren't
They
they? They're
are.
They
They're
are. They are
lovely.
nice ones. They're thick. Well, I'm sure our viewers and I know myself. Thank you for opening up and sharing a little bit of your life. And I said it's just a snippet. They really have to come and know you. So if people start walking up to you and say, "Hey, Walt was talking about this about your life," or on the podcast you mentioned this, blah 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 blah, you can feel like if you you know that you're becoming a rock star. And
Hey,
then you can handle it the way you want to handle it. Just do your Jamie Ray thing.
just give him a card. I just
Maybe
give
Give
him
him
they'll
a
give you
card,
maybe they'll give you a freaking star out on Mill Avenue someday. You
right?
never know, you
Something, a
Hey,
know.
plaque.
I would
Yeah.
love that. That would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be something?
I keep saying since I grew up in Queen Creek, I keep waiting for my face to be on that sign that says home of Jamie Ray, but
Mm.
hasn't happened yet.
Who's on that sign now?
Nobody. It needs to be me.
See? Should be
It's a,
easy.
yeah, you'll do it. We'll help you do that. We'll definitely help. Well, thank you for sharing.
Awesome learning more about where you
Right,
come from and where you're going.
Thank
right.
you. Appreciate it. We're done with it, right? We're not doing it again.
Well, we kind of, yeah. No, well, this, like I
We
Emma and
should
said,
make
James
it,
aren't
I
gonna
think we
let
should
us
make it an
because
annual
we
event.
just we just lost viewers.
that you can't put
Count
bookends
just
on
for
this situation here for all three of us.
right. You can't.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can't.
And so, well, you can put a bookend on Glenn's. It's
Yeah,
just,
I think we're done with Glenn. I
yeah,
think
you only
his
need
story.
one bookend. You don't need the other one.
Well, you can just put
Just
it in
let
that
them,
return slot at the library right now. Be done with it altogether.
right. Thank you, Jamie
Thanks,
Ray.
Jamie
Well,
Ray.
thank you. I got to tell you real quick. My husband tried to. I gave him the wrong number. He wanted to zoom in, but I didn't let him. So when he
Good work.
asked you,
You
when he
intentionally
asked
get,
you, I intentionally gave him the.
Whose Zoom
he,
meeting is he on now?
He just
wait,
messaged me and said, "Hey, I tried to get on." I said, "Oh, that's too bad. It's
Ah,
over."
hey, he's smarter than that. He could have clued in when you said 1-800. He should have known right there.
well,
Right then, he's been. Come on, this man's been in the Coast Guard. He knows how to.
He was a chief in the Coast Guard too. He was a chief.
Okay,
he was in the Coast
okay.
Guard, Arizona. What was he stationed at Tempe Town Lake? Or, I mean, what? Where the hell do
I
they?
know. Can you believe it? I didn't
So,
even know about the Coast Guard when living in Arizona. My husband found it, and he
hey,
hates water.
hey, look here. In Arizona, it's just called the Guard.
That's it.
It's not,
He's a
there's
puddle
no
jumper.
there's no coast.
They deal with any kind of moisture.
So Glenn, you want me or you want to introduce the next segment of this
You do it
program?
well because now you have the official moniker
No,
from
I
Jamie
do,
Ray.
I do, I do. Well, folks, we're in the part of the program that Jamie Ray has coined live, loud, and local. What's happening here in our various sectors of the valley of which we live in. And over here in Tempe, I can tell you it, it dovetail right into the New Times page here. I don't know if it's got a like glare in there,
I can see
but
it.
yeah, well, mint cannabis is voted best weed in Arizona. Okay,
All right
not
then.
that I'm promoting that kind of thing, because
Is that what you put in your oatmeal?
right, that is, it's huge now, right over here. All right, so I'm gonna open up to what's live, loud, and local here, and you're gonna have the big reggae concert that's happening at the Tempe Town Lake. This thing is huge, folks. And I had the page open and I lost it, and I'm gonna find it while I'm talking to you.
They'll be playing at the Coast Guard facility over there.
They're 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 actually using the
Water
Coast
here.
Guard. They're using the Coast Guard to transport it. Yeah, the Tempe Town Lake has this big reggae fest coming up here in April, and just the people that are going to be on that show are just absolutely amazing. The artists that are on it, and I have probably ran past it twice already while I'm looking here because
Now, is there
we
any
also have,
connection between the weed thing and the?
yeah,
Okay,
that's what I'm trying to segue in. It's not working.
I caught
Well,
it. I
you
caught it.
you did. Okay, because I wanted to read off some of the acts. You got acts like Steel Pulse. You have one of the Marley family going to be out here. The Bob Marley's son. I think it might be Steve and Laurie. That's Marley. Laurie. That's some friends of mine in high school. Yeah, they're going to be on the bill. There's also some of the bands like Soja, who I think they're out of the Washington D.C. area. They were part of the huge McDowell Mountain Music Festival that we used to put on,
Oh yeah.
or that's still going on when I was working with them. We had them on, and they did a great job. And they're kind of, I think they're more like a B level concert touring band, and I think they probably deserve more credit than just the B level. But that's what they have going on. And so while I was looking for that, I came across the Renaissance Festival, which is going to
Oh
be
yeah.
taking place. I think it starts this weekend and it goes through March 29th. And you can look into the New Times to find out exactly what that location is out there near Apache Junction.
It's
And
like right off the 60. It's actually not that far
In my neck of the
from where.
woods.
it is in your neck of
Yeah.
the woods. That that event is amazing. It's been going on for years and years, and
A lot
I
of
have friends that have been in it quite a few times. Yeah, I don't know why I brought this piece of paper in. I can't even find that.
Are you playing at that reggae thing or
No, I am not. No, I
what's up with
I
that?
I would love to at one day, but
You've associated yourself with Glenn for too long. Nobody wants you now.
I
This would
think
be
so.
it.
I
Yeah.
think that's the issue. Well, okay,
Some
so
guy
that's going
called me
on.
for a reference, and yeah, I know him. He's one of my best friends. I love the guy. So much for that.
So much, yeah.
We'll call you.
Don't do that anymore. The Mill Music Sessions have their event this weekend at the Hayden Flour Mill. That's going to be a nice event. There's three bands playing out there. And that'll be going on. I think it's Saturday or
The
Sunday.
31st,
31st. So that would make it
Saturday,
Sunday,
I think.
Saturday. Okay, man, we're already at the end of this month.
I
It's
know.
done.
Yeah. So yeah, they're going to be out there doing that. That's going to be the three bands that are on. I can't call their names right out, but they're good bands. They're just
Well, if they're performing there, they are. So,
yes, definitely. Now people are calling in to be on the mill
yeah, I know. I've
sessions.
been asking, but everybody ignores me because I'm associated with you two.
Yeah.
We
Understandable.
we got you on the list. Definitely have you on the list.
I'm on a list.
I know. I'm on that same list.
But I'm going to look for this thing because now I've got to find it.
All right. Well,
But
you
while
look.
I'm looking at you go
All
ahead
right.
and
All right.
next
So
person's
we'll
live
we'll
locally
talk
loud.
about what's west while Walt gets that info for you. But there's a ton happening, west and central right now. And the biggie on the 31st actually is the Arizona Songwriters Association gathering, which is at the Glendale Public Library on Brown. And there are a gazillion stages. This year they've added a teen stage, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Because people of all ages are writing songs, and I think it's great that younger folks are going to have a stage where they'll be able to perform their originals, and everything that's going to be performed at that event is original material. So pretty unique and a very, very cool event. So that gets underway at 10 o'clock in the morning on the 31st, Saturday, and runs until 5. And I, this year, am in charge of weather. And of course, the forecast is 79 degrees and sunny. So once again, I have exceeded expectations and done a
Thank you,
phenomenal
Glenn.
job. Done a phenomenal job. But I'll be running sound and hosting some on the on one of the outside stages there. So stop by and say hey. Also, Valentine's Day the 14th, which happens to be a Saturday this year. I'm going to be performing with Annie Moscow at North Mountain Brewing Company. That should be a fun show. Glendale Folk and Heritage Festival is coming up quickly, and that is another that's a 2-day event. That's on the last day of February, which I think usually comes on the 28th, but it can be the 29th if there is a 29th, but this year there's not. So it will be on February 28th and March 1st, again at the park that is adjacent to the Glendale Public Library. Massive, massive festival, and lots and lots of fun. So make some plans to stop by there. And we're getting into serious festival mode here in Arizona, and lots of visitors. We're just wrapping up Barrett Jackson over in Scottsdale, and then we have the Drunken Golf Festival that happens after that, which we revel in, and that's a lot of fun, where people get inebriated and hit golf balls. And it's sponsored by the junk people there.
Yeah, waste management is
Them, yes, yeah. Yes. Apparently, the junk business is good these days. So, but there's a lot. All kidding aside, there's a ton of music that surrounds that event out there. Just like Barrett Jackson, there's a ton of music, and that too is in the gated city of Scottsdale, Arizona. You need a code to get in. I do believe. Not sure. I'm just assuming.
Somebody give us the code.
I don't know. So that's kind of what's going on. West Central. As I've mentioned over and over again, there's just a spate of open mics over here, and a great resource, by the way, for open mic knowledge is AZ Open Mics and Jams, which is on Facebook, and they do a great listing.
Yeah, they do.
Our pal Shanjan Crane, who also hosts a really nice showcase at Focal in the gated city of Scottsdale. Every Sunday night, it's a really neat event, and if you're looking to showcase a local band, if you get in touch with her via that site, generally she'll find some space for you. So that's a cool thing too, and that's about it. I think I've said more than enough at this point. Walter, have you found the information you were seeking?
No, I never
You have
found
not.
it. Yeah, so
Okay.
we
Check your
just
text message, Walt. Check your text message, please.
Oh,
okay.
While Walt's checking his text message,
okay.
I want to tell everybody to look up 520 events. It's spelled out FIVE, the number 20 events.com. They have so many events going on out here in Pinell County. A lot of tribute acts play out here. Tickets are sold, some of them are free. But if you look up 520 events, and they're on social media also, you can find a lot of great concerts going on out here in
Cool.
Pinell County in the Florence area, up through April. So actually, I think through May, but a lot of good festival days out here. So look that up, and love to see you there, because the Blindsiders are playing at some of those.
Of course they are.
Of course. I wouldn't be me if I didn't throw that in
Why
there.
wouldn't they be?
Blindsiders are
Oh,
playing
hey,
all of them.
this apparently is the shameless plug portion of our program.
It is.
So
This is our sound check.
I've got a new album that I released a couple of
right.
weeks ago. Walt already lost his copy, so don't worry about that.
I've already listened to it so much it's burned out.
I love that. I like that.
Right on.
But
Congratulations.
it's called The Imperfect Storm, and it is now up on all the streaming services that don't pay anybody anything. But that's not our goal, really, here, because we know that we are going to die poor, destitute, and hated. So, just go ahead and consume it via Spotify if you want. It's called The Imperfect Storm, and it is my work, so my name is on it, Glenn Gardner. And so it's Apple Music and Spotify and all those things. You can get it, or you can go to Bandcamp and pay for it if you want. But many people actually choose not to.
Yeah.
they choose to get it for free, and I don't really care.
Yeah.
While we're plugging all the music, we've had
Yes,
a few guests that are releasing some music. Annie Moscow has a song
Yeah.
coming out Friday. What is the date? I don't
30th, I
know.
think,
The 30th. You're
and it's
correct.
called it's called Hey Joe.
Yes, Annie
Not
Moscow.
that one,
No,
different one. Not that Joe.
so
The other Joe.
look that up. Annie Moscow's got
It's a
that coming
great
out.
song.
The Steady
Great song.
Kind have released a song. I believe it was today. Today, the 29th. Today's the
Correct.
29th of
It is.
January. Oh
It
my
is.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Steady Kind has a song released, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but look it up because it's good.
Well, you're catching up with Walt.
I
I know.
know.
I know.
I was
I
trying
know.
to help Walt out and screwed my own live loud local up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, did you? So, all right. So, no one found any of the information they were looking for. Is this correct? Before we wrap this thing
I
up,
sent it to Walt about Hayden. I sent
But
that.
where did
oh,
you send it? You say you sent it to my text message?
Yes, sir.
When did you do that?
Like when you were looking for it.
Yeah, but
So,
I
Mill
don't.
Music Sessions has Will Wright at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Katie May and the Lubrication. Did I
Yep.
just say that? 2
Yeah.
p.m.
Yeah.
The Haley Green Band at 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And special guest Joe. I do not want to destroy his name. I cannot pronounce that.
Yes.
Special guest
hey
Fusion
Joe.
Clarinet. Oh, I need to see that.
So he is an artist that has special needs, and they're going to have him come up and play a couple of songs. I think early on in the show.
Yeah, it
One
says
of
that,
the
and he plays clarinet.
Yeah, he plays clarinet. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. I wish I could go. Someone
Yeah.
record that for me.
I want to I want to see that too.
The
I don't have
Blindsiders have a
any.
gig, so
I have
Of course.
nothing in my phone from you.
well, then I don't have you blocked
You
me.
do you know you sent it to the same number you gave Jeremy?
Yeah,
See how that gets you?
it's off into the ether.
Jeremy and I got something to talk about next time. Yeah.
Well,
She threw you off too? Yeah, she did that tape too.
I
all I
didn't
can
put him on
say
this damn
is
podcast. I got enough trouble with you two.
you have been fortunate to have survived yet another hour
I
of
Wait a
this.
minute. I have one more thing, and I'll
Whoa,
let you
but of course
go.
you do.
Well, no, this is important. This is a serious note.
All right then.
Holocaust Remembrance Day was this week. I
this
believe
week.
it was
Woo.
27th, I think.
27th. I was going to
Yep.
say
Okay.
the 20. So I just want to take a minute to remember that because I homeschooled my children when they were in junior high level, and I they know more about the Holocaust than the Holocaust because that has always been something to me that I think should never be forgotten. It should be, as horrible as it is, it should be something that is told again and again and should always be remembered. And I just want to take a minute to
Never forget.
never
Never
forget
forget.
that.
Right.
Never forget.
Right there. Right there with you.
Yep. All right. Well, that will do it for this episode of The Desert Vibe. I am Glenn Gardner.
I'm Walt Richardson.
I am Jamirae.
Till we meet again, be good to yourselves. Take care of one another. And let's give peace a chance.